Good morning, traders. This is my weekly performance summary for week ending December 13, 2025. I'm your host, Jason Allen at netwinningtrader.com. And for those of you that are new to the broadcast, this is a actual performance tracking of real-time accounts that I'm trading in real time. So in other words, this is actually how well I did in the markets this week. And what I'm hoping to demonstrate to you is how sophisticated and how complete the netwinningtrader.com protocols are for trading. If you're serious about exploiting what you can find in the markets for opportunity, the markets themselves all function the same way. If you knew what that function was and how to exploit it, your performance would be much higher than it is now. If you're the kind of trader that still isn't making money doing this, then I think you would be well served to have a look at my protocols at netwinningtrader.com. We've helped lots of people go from broke to happy trading, and there's no reason why you can't do that too if you're not currently a winning trader. In my opinion is anyone can learn to win. Anyone can learn to exploit the markets, and what I try to do every week with my performance summary is show you that it's not that difficult to do. It requires a different focus, different set of information to focus on, and a different mindset. The trading is really all about how you think and how you manage your thinking, and I think you'll see that pretty clearly as we go through the data. So that being said, I'm going to give you this week's data and then close out for the year. So let's just do that real quick. So I talk about the numbers are closed trades. The only trades really that are that critical in my opinion are the closed trades. The reason being, from when you open to when you close, that's completely within your control. So the way you enter the market and the way you leave the market determines your rate of return and your net results. The fact of the matter is, most people focus on only one side of this. They focus on their entry and they don't think about managing their exit. And the exit really, I think, is more important. So the closed trades, that's what's important. That gives you the gateway to understanding how to succeed. So that being said, here's where we were for this week. Very quiet week, as a matter of fact. Basically just holding the winners. The losers are getting creamed out, and the winners were holding. One closed long, 4 closed shorts. Total trades only 5. We lost 1 long, 2 shorts. Total pips 122.80. A little high. Should have been about 120 or less. But little skids this week. Winning trades, longs 0, shorts 2, only for 82.30. One was actually a 1 pip break even, and the other was your typical winning trade. However, we didn't have enough of them this week when we closed. So we really were out 40.5. So 40 and a half pips is the losses that are closed. So equity went down just a little bit, 0.5% or something like that. And then, of course, what we're holding, 2 times pounds long. In other words, I'll show you this on the chart in a minute. I added to my winning pounds this week on Friday. Friday's close, 2 positions on, net holding almost 100-point gain. Euro, only 1 of those, but it's doing well. It's actually doing better than the pounds are. But we didn't get an entry point yet on adding to longs in Euro. I also have the short side of Euro because we got up near our near-term topping at current resistance levels. And that trade got off at 117.54. So that being said, we're in perfect position on Euro. The protocol that I use, which is called price agnostic, which I don't understand why more people don't use. Price agnostic trading basically means we're on both sides of the markets very often. The idea being is we don't care which side wins, we just want to be on that side. So there are times when a long is applicable and it works and it starts making money and we hold it, and then a sell comes on, so we put that on too in a separate account. The idea being that between the 2 trades, the market's going to be 300 points difference from where it is now. We don't know if that means 300 higher or 300 lower. So from the points that are best for each side, we enter. On yen, nothing held at all. And Canada, we got one long working for a small loss. Total open trade equity is exactly 202 points. My goal is to see another minimum 100 points all the way across the board. So with 4 trades on, one hedged, one not, 2 not, it's. I'd like to see us close out the week next week taking this and actually banking it, or a little more. I'm not going to be around. I don't think I'm going to have positions on after the 18th through the end of the year. Haven't quite made that decision yet, but we'll keep you posted, and I'll let you know. Let's take a look at charts. I'm going to go ahead and give you pounds this week to start. And let me get my pen ready here. Pounds, you can see right here along the bottom of the screen, this blue line, this is our uptrend. And as you can see, the 200 bar moving average is right along the rail. This is a very secure uptrend. But it's over a long enough period of time and a large enough price move that we're going to get lots of give and take. I was short over here. This is the short position that we came in to the week from the high prints. The longs were taken off at a profit and held the shorts. Market started to make its move, and then we got the long position down here, and we put that on right here. So now we're long and short, the same market. We have a profit on the short side, and we don't know what's going to happen. And what happens? The market makes a big move to the upside, and there it is. So the short position was taken off at break even. The long position is working, and you can see the stop right here is rolling up underneath according to the protocols, and we're holding. I added to the long position on the strong trend buy right here and on Friday, and then we have that has made a small move, and we're actually closing firm on the week. A little bit of selling pressure off the high. The high print, our price was unable. The actual selling price was right about there on the second bar after that limit order was placed. We just never got it filled. I actually intend to make that change for next year, is that when the signal comes on, the order is placed, and that just doesn't matter what the difference is in price. In other words, most of the time, when you get a signal, you get to move back to the opening ranges, somewhere up in here. I went back and looked, and probably half of trades that would have been big winners were just left on the table because they were unable. So we're going to fix that in the automation because, quite frankly, we don't know what trade's going to work. So trying to finesse getting into it, finagle trying to get into it, probably is going to work against us, and I think it has. So I'm going to go ahead and make that change into the new year. Of course, that requires a little bit of testing, so I don't know exactly how much we'll get done. We may not be ready to use that part of the automation right on the first, but we'll see. Okay, Euro. Euro, actually, same situation. Came in short right here. Our trend line should have extended it a little bit, but it's working. Maybe it's got a little bit flatter. Buy point came on early in the week. Went ahead and took it. Stopped out at break even on our short. Market ran away. High prints here. Entry perfectly at the top. Couldn't ask for a better entry. And stops are down here protecting the open long. The issue of getting a new position on isn't really clear yet. I want to add to it, but I think we're going to get a test of the 117.10 area somewhere in here. I think we'll get next week, and by then I think we'll have the trend redrawn and our averages catching up. So there should be some good buy signals around 117. I'm going to add to it right about there. Also, on Japanese yen, came in flat. Here was our down. You can see our downtrend here ended rather abruptly. This was what I talked about last week, the curve on the 50 bar saying maybe it's over, and it was. Try to reshort here, taken out at a loss. Reshorted up here. Look at this cluster, just a beautiful cluster opportunity right here at the 156.80 area. 157 handled that. You can see the blue line there. That is previous support and resistance going way back. Great place to sell it. Unfortunately, the way this particular trade was set up, I want to just show you something here real quick if I can. All right, as you notice, we're coming down and it's doing really well across the first moving average, and then we closed below the 100 bar. Do you see that right here? And the 100 bar strong trend buys up to that moment were wrong-footed. That's a good clue to just get short and stay short and sell more on the next sell signal, which would have been done perfectly right there. But here's what happened. The protocol, the way the protocols work, is that a certain amount of acceleration could be whipsaw. And because of that, we want to be careful to keep what we make and not give it back. Some conditions are different, better than others for that to happen, and this was one of them. The stop is moved into the averages and holds above the 100 bar. If the 50 bar is over the 100 and you close below the 100, that acceleration should just keep right on going. You should never come back above the 100 bar. That's what you're looking for. Well, when it does come back above the 100 bar, oftentimes, and you'll see this if you look at your other trades, you come roaring right back up to the highs and make actually new highs. So when we're short with a nice gain, in this case more than 100 points, open trade equity, we want to protect at least some of that, which I did. The market came up, just a bad beat, just beat us right there. Then new lows on the week and a retracement back to the sell zone. Notice now that the 50 bar is riding under the 100 bar. That is a classic sell. It would not surprise me at all if this market just had a little blip in the morning on start the week and then just kept right on going the rest of the week. And you can see that this is definitely developing downtrend. So basically, we're flat after making money, and I have no positions on. We pulled out money net for the week. More money made on the winner than given back on the loser, but that's not the point. The point is I got nothing on, and it looks to be a textbook top. Bad beat took off my initial short. And I can't use I don't have to. I try to use the reversal signals to enter a position. The trend signals are used to add. So if I don't have anything on at all, using the trend signals to get in is a little more risky. So I don't often do that. And since we're closing out the year in 4 or 5 trading days for me personally, we may have to just let this one go. Canada, again, you can see the downtrend coming in from last week. Textbook sell. I just heartbroken that we got beat twice trying to sell it off the highs. The volatility was just enough to just grab those stops. So it is what it is. I got nothing in on the short side. I would have loved to have held it. And look at these ad points. I mean, could you ask for a better ad point? All right, the high for the week just barely tags the 100 bar moving average. Sell signal comes on. It's right at the trend line anyway, and then just you're lower all week into Friday's close, including Friday's sell signal too. I mean, it's heartbreaking. I got nothing on. It's not a big move. I mean, from I think 140 and a half, 141, and we're now at 38 and a half. I mean, we're talking 250 points. I mean, it's not a big move, but at the same point, it's still very good quality, which means the money to be made is there, so. But for how I actually traded this week, again, the automation like the reversals on the buy side, which came in perfectly at the support area, the bottom of the range, and then here, stopped out right here on my number. My price was the low on Monday. That's just a bad beat. Guys, I just can't tell you how many times that frustrates me. Would have came back as a break-even trade at the end of middle of the week, but that's not the point. The point is that we took a loss on something that it was clearly had some potential in it. The next trade, same thing. New reversal pattern, basically right here, what they call a stacked reversal, followed by a little bit more quality reversal here. Our stop underneath the market missed it so far twice, but we're closing below our opening price on the trade, right? There's where we're at, and here's where we are on the close. So, it doesn't look good on the long side. Of course, automation will roll break even if we get any kind of upside above the 138 area. We'll get maybe enough distance there to roll a stop to break even, but we don't know till it gets there, and quite frankly, it is not looking real good. So we'll see. But at any point, we still have a nice open trade gain on the week from what's working. And that's it for this week, guys. Thanks for coming. I'll be posting my performance every week on Saturday. This, I think, is the last one for the year. So don't look for one on the 20th or the 27th. I'm going to be away for both weekends. So I don't think I'm going to do this from a hotel room. I don't know. We'll see. If it shows up in your inbox, great. But for right now, my thoughts are I think we're done for the year with the weekly performance summary. However, I do my Trader's Daily Discipline. I'll be doing that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week before I leave out of town. I'll give you the heads up as to whether or not I do that while I'm away. I may or may not. But in any case, we'll be done for the year at the end, last 2 weeks here. The New Year's Day is a Thursday, and the first trading day of the year is a Friday. So I don't expect a whole lot to happen. So this might be the last Trader's Daily, the last, pretty sure this is going to be the last weekly summary. And I'll be doing Trader's Daily Discipline next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But after that, like I said, if it shows up in your inbox, great. If not, tell all your friends that you got a great trading tool to review starting after the first of the year next year. And don't forget to check out netwinningtrader.com. I think you're going to love what you find there. All right, guys. Thanks again. We had a great year. I think I made, what was my net? I'd have to look, but I'm not going to tell you. Nobody believes me anyway. They come here I'm amazed. It just blows my mind. You get people that have been trading for 5, 10, or 15 years, and they're still not making any money doing this. And then when they see me put away a couple 100%, they're like, well, you're not doing it right because, you're not using Elliott Wave. And that's what I spent the last 3 years learning that stuff. I get argument after argument after argument about why what I do just doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, well, there's the numbers. They're better than yours. Why don't you put your pride down and start thinking? Because the market's taking your money away and you seem to be okay with it. What if you could find a better way? If someone puts it out in front of you, here it is, week after week after week, what do you need? An engraved invitation? Please come to the markets and make money. No, you got to invest a few things. And most of the time, what people have to invest is their lack of ego. They have to let go of their ego. They have to listen to somebody say, no, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're going to lose because you're losing now. And that's not going to change until you change. And if you don't want to make those changes, you're food for me anyway. They don't want to hear that. Talk about that in my book, The Art of the Trade. And if you haven't read it, I think you really would enjoy it. It's a story of how I became a net winning trader. And one of the things I talk about in there is like, look, this isn't a game. It really isn't. 85% of traders who initiate at least one trade in their lifetime are going to close that account with a loss. How are you going to beat those odds if you're doing the exact same thing all those other people are doing, using the exact same tools, going to the same online trading academies, hanging out at the same trader chat rooms, doing all the same crap over and over again, expecting it to be different next time? Are you insane? You have to wake up. When I finally did that, which I describe in the book in quite accurate detail, when I finally woke up, my life changed. It changed so radically, I didn't even sleep for 3 days. I had an epiphany of understanding that completely altered my life. I am a completely different guy today than I was 30 years ago or 35 years ago. That's what I think you want, isn't it? That consistent growth, change, development, wealth, all of that. How are you going to get that by doing the exact same thing every other loser's doing? So that's my rant for today. Everything you could possibly want to know about how to win in this business is inside netwinningtrader.com if you really want to explore it. And that's my argument. Some people would disagree with me, and all I say is take a look at your account balances. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. It's been a great year. I hope you did as well as I did. If not, come check out my protocols, man. Go ahead, have a look. You're not gonna lose anything by checking it out. You may find out it's exactly what you're looking for. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Have a great holiday season. If we don't chat before then, keep those cards and letters coming. I love to hear from my listeners. And if I don't speak over the holiday season, good luck with the holidays. And I will see you next time. Thanks.